All right, and I believe we have everything set up. Hello and welcome to race number 12 here for the Canadian GP here with the Invictus Racing League. My name is Xerox, your commentator for today. And unfortunately, with my schedule and the holidays coming around, it'll be my last stream for Invictus. I'm going to be looking forward to try to get into more media side of things here with the league, as we're starting out the week in Canada for Tier 4 and Tier 3. I don't know if Tier 3 is streaming today, but we'll have to wait and see. Waiting for an invite from race admins, and as always, if the game audio is too loud or if my audio is too loud, please let me know. I did turn the game audio down a little bit compared to last week. I did remember that I had turned up the game audio for my my career mode for my channel, and one of the guys told me, he's like, "Hey, your game audio is a little bit too loud," so I went ahead and turned it down, and we'll have to wait and see. Hello. I'm wondering about today. I started the stream a little late, but nobody's in a rush for getting an invite. There's my alarm for the race. But yeah, we're going to be going towards the end of the season, and I unfortunately will not be able to stream the rest of the races. Here's my invite from JPH. Thank you, sir. And as we get into the lobby here, we're going to go over driver and constructor standings. So we have a little bit of a change going on. Let me go ahead and pull up the previous week's information. That way I can look at the difference. All right. So on screen, you guys can see McLaren leading 181 to 133 against Williams. Williams closing that gap with that win from last week. A very strong win. Haas sitting at 99, AlphaTauri 89, Alfa Romeo 83, Mercedes 55. Alpine for 7th at 48, Ferrari 29 points, Red Bull, and then Aston Martin. Then for the driver standings, we have Jack 106 against JPH 101. JPH still in second, 5 points. 5-point difference between Jack and JPH. They're still fighting for the lead of the championship. And then Ronan is he's had some good times here and there. He's still sitting within at least 15 points. He's at 93 points. They're in third place. Lucas Blaha, 85, close behind, and Bruce Lee Harding in the other McLaren at 80 points. So he's fighting for that top 4 or top 3 spot. Get up there in the top 3 with his teammate for McLaren, as they did have a strong start to the season. As I believe Sam Flan there in P7, Blackside, and then Jamie's having a pretty good start, except for some of those penalties. Back down to P15 at 9 points. Had to have some points taken away, and I believe he has a race ban. Two reserve drivers, or and as always, if you guys hear my kid in the background, please ignore that as best as possible. Hi, buddy. In the standing teams, I don't know if we have any actual reserve drivers anymore. I think people are slotted into their proper teams to be able to fill spots. But on the driver standings, it looks like Tancho Banda is still marked as reserve, and Venturi Sam is still marked as reserve, so I don't know what's going on there. Because I believe Tancho is set up with a team. Let me look here. I don't remember. Tancho has not responded to this week's race count, race participation. There are 2 reserved for what teams? I don't get that information off the bat. There's just updates. Like, there's no official, like, I'm only a commentator, I don't get everything on the board as information. Alright, and as always, if you guys are looking to join a league, make sure to join the Invictus Racing League's Discord and follow the application process in the appropriate channel. But at least a week minimum response time to find a slot, because the league is in an ongoing season, if you guys are new here. And then you guys can also find the league on gridfinder.com. If this league isn't quite what you're looking for, be sure to go check out gridfinder.com for a league that fits your preference with the filters that they have at your disposal. If online racing isn't your thing and you're on PC, unfortunate for those who are on console, able to use mods. But you guys can always go check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for anything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and more. The Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us today for race number 12 here in Canada. And throughout the rest of the season, as we're nearing the end. Very unfortunate that I'm not able to stream the rest of the races with my schedule getting pretty much packed up. Been a busy week this week as it is. As we're getting a lot more people in. We're gonna have about 12 drivers so far. Let's see, Mikey and Jack. Mikey has been doing a lot better so far this season from the start. Jack with that win from last week. We're hoping to see him again. A few more minutes. It feels like must be just me. All right, we got Nitro Gas, Sir Spud in the Ferraris, Gattuso in the Aston Martin, Ronan in the Haas, Lucas Baja in the Alfa Romeo, the 2 Williams of Jack and Mikey, JPH in the McLaren. He's going to be the only McLaren today so far as of right now. But yeah, as always, we're going to have a short qualifying here for Canada. It's going to be a high, not a low, high downforce, a low downforce track with a couple of chicanes. As we have the Wall of Champions there for the last corner. I've had my fair share of mistakes there in F122 and F121. But felt a lot better. Only a few scrapes so far this year in this game. Eclipse Kiri in the AlphaTauri having a good fight the last few races. I remember in Singapore he had the podium stolen away from him. I believe it was I don't know if it was... No, it wasn't Phantom. That's another thing. Phantom! I haven't seen the second half here for a little bit. About 2 minutes away from race start. And as of right now, still 12 drivers. That's what it was, Bruce. The other McLaren, Bruce. There he is. All right, it looks like we're gonna have 13 drivers for today's race here in Canada. And 2 Hasses. We haven't seen 2 Hasses for a bit. But yeah, those standings looking very promising as a lot of people are in the fight. And I will have to be... I won't be able to watch it live really, but I will make sure to keep a close eye on how the standings are going for Tier 4. It'll give me a chance to catch up to Tier 3. Some other guys that I'm familiar with. And then I haven't really... I watched maybe one stream for Tier 1. And then same thing for Real Performance. It's just throughout the week, it's so busy. Go ahead and... You guys have already seen that plenty. We'll go ahead and remove those. That way we have an easy transition over to the lobby. As everybody is readying up. Let me get Discord back up. And I can already tell. I have a feeling that people are going to be getting corner and cutting through the chicanes. Getting a little bit of feedback from Sir Spud if you're in the chat, if you're listening. A little bit of feedback from your mic. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull the stream up in the background of my phone because I have Discord covering the video. What is it? Hi. All right, here we are. Hopefully we won't have any disconnecting issues as we have had recently. And hopefully my settings are good enough to we don't have any... I don't know if it's a texturing issue or a frame rate issue, but I was recording in Jeddah the other night, and every time I went through Sector 1, my frames would drop. But as soon as I pulled up a counter for my frames, like my FPS counters, it wouldn't do it anymore. So I don't know. The first one out is the Haas of Phantom. I don't know if we saw Phantom last week. I don't quite remember. But it's a long trail for this pit lane into, I believe, turn 3. One of the first straight. Go ahead and pull track map. There we go. I didn't realize that was the orientation for the track. I always had it on minimap. I have it on the left side. Telemetry for qualifying. We don't need detail. And... oh yeah, once again, I did change my TV pod offset camera view. So I hope you guys enjoy that today. I don't remember, I believe I had it for the last race. Last week. But we'll be going back and forth between those two. Because Phantom is up first. And he's jumping there a little bit left and right. So maybe a connection issue. He's letting the Williams go by. I believe Jack. No, that is going to be his teammate of Mikey. Who I believe was cut short in qualifying last week in China. If I remember, there's a lot of latency issues. I'm not dropping any frames. I don't know. It must be a connection issue. I didn't get to see who was the race host. But Phantom has started his hot lap. And Mikey. We're going to be starting with Mikey here. And again, I did say it's going to be a lot more lower to the ground setup. Lower downforce setup than a higher downforce setup. Carry a lot of speed through these. Going through those gears pretty quick through that turn. You can I know Mikey can nail that turn way better than I could into Sector 3. I can never get that turn right every single time. Let's see how he does in the last chicane through Wall of Champions. And looks pretty good. No time in our provisional time to beat. To start with 112, we're going to be going back to Phantom. He's going to be close behind, 113.4, so 1.3 seconds behind. I believe up next, that was Jack right after, and we have the Aston Martin Gattuso on an outlap. That's going to be, I don't know if that was intentional or not, I missed it. That's going to be Sandplan with a 112.5 right in the middle, and then Blackside right there, 112. Looks... my guess is going to be a lot of people are going to be running the 112, 111, high 111. Jack with a low 111. Or no, that was Ronan getting up into P2. Gattuso was on his lap there. I thought he was on his nitro gas. And the Ferrari bringing some momentum back compared to what we've seen in the last few races. 111.5. And Clips Carey setting the provisional pole, and this is what I was talking about, that frame rate. I think it's a frame rate issue. But I don't know if that is me or not. And the AlphaTauri going slow in Sector 1. We'll go to somebody else. See. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this, and then it's gone. It's gone. I don't know. I was gonna pull up my FPS counter and now it's gone already. So, if you may know what that is, please let me know. That way I can try and troubleshoot it. On board with Sir Spud and the other Ferrari. Still yet to set a time. Bruce Lee Harding, JPH, still yet to set a time. Lucas Blaha, one of the series favorites. On board with Sir Spud, his teammate, up in third. Lucas on an out lap. Going to be starting as a hot lap here. You can see him on the map. Sir Spud coming through the last chicane, the Wall of Champions. See where he can place. 113.8. So nothing but improvement from here on out for Sir Spud. As Lucas Blaha, next up, it is time. No, it's going to be JPH, unless Gattuso is running for a second hot lap. And it doesn't look like it. And I don't know if Bruce is on a cooldown. Bruce is on a cooldown. So Lucas Blaha, and to watch right now, coming through the left, or hard right-hander, double right-hander. See where he can place. He's been running pretty good. He's been making a few mistakes here and there, which would drop him down the course, or drop him down the grid. And from what I saw from that perspective, he ran really well through that chicane. Getting provisional P2 with a 1:11.178, just 600ths of a second, less than 600ths of a second behind Clips here in the AlphaTauri. Let's see who is up next for a possible run. We have Sanflan on an outlap. Gattuso on a cooldown, maybe. That's just going again. The two Hasses are out. And I believe that's the Alpine and Blackside on an outlap as well. Watching Gattuso here. And I think he is on a hot lap. With the way he's running through that chicane. We can see for improvement. And there is up to P5. Lucas Waha coming in from his hot lap cooldown. We have the Mercedes Sanflan starting another hot lap here, and the Ferrari coming in behind. Nitrogash behind on an outlap. As we are under 10 minutes already. And Kelvin saying it's going to be a dry race. And then we have McLaren of JPH now on an outlap. Still yet to set a time. Very confident. What I'm feeling is he's very confident with a one run come in and then back out to again. So there it is again. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get my frame rate. Yeah, it's an FPS drop. I don't know. I doubt you guys can see this. And yeah, it goes back up. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The FPS dropped and then it came back up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. Yes, we're still on board with JPH. Now starting his hot lap through Sector 1. I believe other people are out for a hot lap. I believe the Alpine is now on a hot lap coming through Sector 3. Now he's going to be coming into the pits. That's going to be a Haas behind. The invalidated lap time. And that's going to be Bruce Lee Harding coming in ahead of his teammate with the Mercedes behind. See if he can find improvement. And invalidated lap time from Bruce. Be very unfortunate. Through that last chicane. We're going to go over to JPH. I think that's Ferrari ahead. Yes. Going to be Nitro. See if we can get improvement from Nitro. And I believe that was an improvement of 1. But JPH setting a time just ahead of his teammate, 1:11.6. So they're pretty evenly matched as of right now. And we're going back to Nitro Gash. No, they're Spud on an outlap. My apologies. Gonna be turning our attention towards Gattuso now. Coming through Sector 2 at the end of Sector 2 to Sector 3 for an outlap. As he's taking it a little slow through Sector 2. 6 minutes already left to go. As provisional setup for our grid. Right now, Clips Carey, Lucas Blaha, Ronan Nitrogash, Jack Gattuso for top 6. Clips, Lucas, and Ronan all running pretty good. They do good in qualifying, and then the McLarens work together to get up through the grid throughout the race. And I believe it was like 30 some laps or so as we see the Ferrari crew here coming out for Sir Spud, or no, Nitrogash. That is Nitrogash, and the McLaren's coming in. We see a Haas out on the track. They're both on outlaps, doing early outlaps. I don't know if we'll get another run of those guys. As we have Gattuso finishing up his hot lap now. Alfa Romeo looks behind. See how much of an improvement. A little bit. He's not the only person we've seen. I think, unless it was Gattuso last lap, we've seen 2 people now lock up on that last turn. Coming through Sector 3. Very long area with a lot of open air. You missed your braking point there, and an invalidated lap time for Gattuso, unfortunately. Same thing that happened with McLaren. I think it's, you get too close to the wall, come in contact with the wall, you lose your track time. And there it is again. I don't know if this is an FPS issue. Like, I have my settings set properly, and it's random. There goes back again. I've only had to experience this like once or twice before throughout the entire season, but now twice in the same race. I don't know. We have Sam Plan there in the Mercedes starting his hot lap. Phantom coming over to see what he can find for an improvement. He has about 0.6 improvement now. He makes it through the chicane, snap of oversteer, another person to hit that wall and invalidate their lap time. The wall of champions is definitely taking one for the track. To make it very interesting, Ronan is on a hot lap. Now his lap is invalidated. Oh, wrong button. Sam Plan. And then Mercedes looking to improve, coming through Sector 3. We'll stay on board with him, see if he'll be able to make it through. A big lockup from him. Let's see what time he gets as he gets to a timing line. Look how far ahead or behind he is. It's the DRS. Everybody getting a snap of oversteer from that chicane. And there's going to be a lot of time lost from that lockup there as we have a Williams coming through. Both Williams on their hot lap, or out lap, start their hot lap. It's been very unfortunate for Gattuso, Bruce. A lot of drivers so far. A handful of drivers getting invalidated lap times for the Wall of Champions. Have the Alpha Tauri stopped? Why is Clips stopped? Unless he was letting the Mercedes pass. The Mercedes was on a cooldown lap. Yeah, he's on invalidated lap time unless he's gonna go again. Has enough fuel for another run. We see people starting to slow down a lot more for their final runs. We'll have to keep an eye out as Phantom and Sir Spud and Ronan still in the pits. And there's that frame rate loss again. Let's see from the pit crew of the Mercedes. Sam did come in again. I'll make it quick. Unless Sam's gonna be done. He's gonna be coming out again. I don't know if he'll have enough time. At this point, he will not have enough time. I believe Sam Plan has been knocked out. We're starting in the back of the pack. As we're gonna have to try and keep track of the runs today. Mikey finishing up his hot lap. I don't know if the McLaren ahead. No. See if Mikey can make that chicane. He does. Mikey all the way up to P3. See what his teammate can do. No, his teammate's in Sector 1. That was the Alpine behind, black side. And that's a spin from JPH. I don't know if he precautiously did that. I know Jack was going slow. Hope he doesn't just get disqualified for waiting there. Gattuso on a hot lap now. Ronan and his teammates Phantom starting a hot lap. Clip Scary finish now. P2. No improvement. JPH disqualified for trying to get his car back on the track. There's nothing you can really do about that. He's trying to get the car turned around. Very unfortunate, JPH. I understand I don't understand what exactly happened, but you're trying to get the car turned around. You're trying to keep traffic from. We'll have to get with you. Let's see what happened. We're on board with Mikey. I believe he is already done, unless he's going for another hot lap. Yes, he is. Ronan setting provisional P1 with a 110. Let's see what Mikey can do. There's no time. He looks Blaha. P4. Tuso. There is our lineup for today. The Phantom is still on a hot lap. Yes, he is. P10. There's that texture issue again as we wrap up the end of our qualifying session. I don't know what's going on with that frame rate issue. I've tried pretty much everything. I have my settings lowered to mediums, or if not lower. I went through and I prioritized my game. I don't know. Alright, JPH gonna have to start from the back of the pack. Bruce Lee Harding knocked back to P9. Ronan, Clipscary, and Mikey. Lucas starting out the front of the pack for today's race here in Canada. Really looking forward to it. Seeing what we can do. All right, drivers going to be getting their setups and their race strategies ready to go. Ronan responds, rear grip equals none. That reminds me of the Vegas race this week. Supposedly going to be the coldest race of the season. I don't know if it's going to be the coldest race of all time. I believe we saw a Phantom disconnect. Better hurry up. Phantom disconnected. Sam Flan says he's not looking forward to this race. Gotta survive. I don't believe I have you on my friends list. Who was it that disconnected? I forget already. It's Phantom, I can do it. Alright, Phantom, I got your invite sent. Hopefully he'll be able to join in time. Otherwise he'll be screwed over for his setup. Alright, Phantom is back in. You're welcome. I tap out one more time just for a second. Hopefully they won't start. Alright. Once again, if my audio or the game audio is too loud, please let me know. And I can still see that frame rate issue. I don't know what is going on with my game. I have no mods installed. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to stream this race if I had any mods installed. As it is officially race week in Vegas. And me being American, and I believe Phantom was the one. One of the other tier 4 drivers was, I believe it was Cub, but I don't know if he was tier 4 or tier 3. It's been a long season. But yeah, Vegas this week for real F1 on Saturday night race at 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night Pacific Standard. And supposedly the reason why it's so late in Vegas is that way Europe can have the race in the evening or in the morning. Usually it's the other way around. The United States, the Americas get the races in the early morning, where Europe, Asia, they get it in the afternoon. But I believe the admins are making sure that everybody else has their setups and strategies ready to go. We're waiting a little bit longer. Because we're looking to see if Ronan can cut that gap even more against McLaren. And then the Williams of Mikey and Jack can do the same thing. But they got to be careful. They got to work together. They got to leave the Hasses alone. Bruce in the driver's room is saying Mikey is sandbagging, bringing out the stops for the end of the season. As I believe the next race is Qatar with the sprint format. Which I hope someone can stream that next week. Waiting for players. Yes, next week is Qatar with the last sprint of the season, Australia, and then ending out with Japan. I personally don't like Japan because of the S's. Make one wrong move and those S's, you're in a world of hurt for the remainder of the lap. I lost so much time in the S's on F1 22 and 21. I don't know what I am doing wrong with that frame rate loss. Like, I have my settings set properly. And I'll probably have to go back through and right as I pause, we'll have 5 red lights. Very quiet start. The Haas and where's my audio? There we go. Ronan clips Curie into turn 1. Make sure everybody drives safely, and the Mercedes is spun. I don't know if that's traction or not. It's a very good camera angle. I like it. Clips Curie close behind at P2 for the start of the race. Detail, interval, and tires. Majority of the drivers choosing medium. Clips Curie having to react to Ronan for that little snap of oversteer. Phantom choosing the hards. Mikey and Nitro Gash having an accident. Spin from Mikey there. I don't know if there was contact. If there was, it's very unfortunate. I don't see damage on the Ferrari. I don't see damage on the Williams. There may be damage on the front wing of the Williams. I don't know. But back to the fight. The AlphaTauri closing in on the Haas as much as possible. No DRS until lap 3. Ronan setting the fast lap of a 1:19.2. As he is close behind, we're going to check out some other fights. Blackside run a half second back behind Bruce. We have the Mercedes trying to close up the gap on Sir Spud. Sir Spud on those softs. For a 35 lap race, those softs are going to run until at least lap 11, 12, 13. There's that frame rate loss again. And then coming back up towards the front, we're going to take that perspective from Jack. This train of cars, everybody's now starting to spread out more as we see everybody set up. So we have a lockup from Lucas up in P3. Jack may be able to capitalize on that, closing that gap a little bit. We see Sam playing about less than half a second behind Sir Spud. Our frames are back. I'll have to go back in and change our settings if we get a safety car. Hopefully that won't bother too much. Ronan setting a faster lap now, 1:13.8. Jack is sitting back for now. DRS has been enabled. He'll get it in sector 2. Ronan is starting to pull away from Clips Curie. Lucas Blaha having a great season so far. Just hope he doesn't make too many mistakes to be able to stay up in the front. I don't know if we've seen him in the podium yet. Do we see the McLaren getting advanced by... No, Blackside's about a second out. JPH is trying to make a move on Phantom. On that one step faster tires. Try to make a move on the inside. Not enough space to do so. We go back to Jack, another lockup from both Clips Curie and Lucas Blaha. I don't know if that was from Clips or Ronan. But now it's going to be a train of DRS coming to the end of lap 3. Jumping up to Lucas here. Very strong, very close to the wall. Jack still sitting back for now. Letting them fight. Jack getting the fastest lap with a 1:13.6, 0.2 faster than what Ronan did last lap. We have the Ferraris in the back of the pack. Sir Spud not finding any time with those soft tires. JPH finally making that move. Gattuso getting a track limit warning already on lap 4. Sir Spud losing position against Mikey and the other Williams. I really need to go back into my settings and change a video setting. Trying to remember what I need to change it back to. Jack now starting to lose ground. Gonna be going over to Lucas, see what kind of move he can make. These top 3, top 4 are fighting very strongly. As Bruce Lee's trying to make a move on Gattuso in the Aston Martin. Lucas Baja losing a little bit of time through Sector 1. Trying to stay as close as he can to Klipskiri and Ronan. Ronan still getting pressure from Klipskiri. Klipskiri putting that pressure on throughout the entirety of the race so far. Sir Spud getting a track limit warning there at the last part of the grid. A lot of lockup from Lucas as Jack is trying to close in, see what Jack can do. Everybody getting closer and closer together through that chicane. Black side, the next person to get a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits. Jack basically playing the waiting game, letting other people fight. Everybody on those mediums throughout the first 8 people. Bruce now getting a 3-second time penalty. He's not going to want that for the championship. That's going to be through Sector 1. We really need to figure out this frame rate issue. I'm going to tab out just for a second and then go back in. See if that will help afterwards. Doesn't look like it. I really need to go through and fix it. I'm hoping for a safety car, but I know these guys are not. I think we may have seen a little bit of snap of oversteer from Clips, and Lucas is going to try to make a move on the inside. Does he make a move? It's a clean pass. Yes, it is. Klipskiri, you're going to have to make that position up again. Careful not to put too much power down through Sector 1, or you're going to spin like we saw in qualifying. Black side getting another penalty for track limits, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and take a look. Yes, he has 2 track limit penalties up for 6 seconds. KPH 4.8 seconds back behind Black side. As we still have a long race to go, we're about maybe a 1/5 of the way through. I think that's what it is. Lockup from Lucas. Jack looking to try to close in on Klipskiri. Maybe he can capitalize on it. But Ronan still holding strong on those mediums, about a 1/2 second ahead. Lucas Blaha very close to Ronan. Gattuso getting another track penalty for track 3-second time penalty for track limits. I can never say that properly. Jack late on the brakes through Sector 1, trying to close up that gap, and he does a little bit. Bruce now 2 seconds back. Ronan track limits, Clips track limits. Oh no. If Ronan can get ahead of the pack, run these mediums really hard, try to nurse them all the way through their tire life, he can get that gap again. I don't know what is going on with this frame rate. Another lockup from our drivers here in the top 4. Now Bruce is already at almost 2 seconds back. You can see him fighting ahead. Lipskiri now back in P4. One wrong move and we'll have a safety car. Lucas and Jack, the 2 drivers from the top 4, without any penalties as of yet. Looks like Clip's starting to lose ground a little bit. He just has to play the patient game here. Jack getting a 3-second time penalty. Now the only person to not get a 3-second time penalty in the top 4 is Lucas Blaha, our current leader. Caution in sector 1. Could be a spin from Gattuso. It's going to be a safety flag. Safety car. Safety flag. I cannot talk right now. He's going to be able to get back on track, I hope. He's got to start moving before all those cars are going through. You don't want to pull the safety car this early in the race. Come on, Gattuso, you got to move. There you go. Natural gas, 3-second time penalty. Wow. Gattuso got 2 more penalties for that. Everybody on 8-lap mediums now. 9 laps. Lipskiri trying to hang on to the top 3. Trying to make sure that they don't pull away. Nitro Gash making a move on Phantom there in the background. We're still on board with Lipskiri. Mikey getting a 3-second time penalty. Now 4 drivers left without penalty. I need to figure out which setting it is for this frame rate loss. It's pretty bad. Sir Spud now with another 3-second time penalty for track limits. Big lockup from Lucas. That's gonna hurt him. Lipskiri losing time with DRS. Lucas still holding the lead about a half second. Almost at a snap of oversteer as we're on board with Lipskiri. We'll come back to Lipskiri. We're gonna go up to Jack. Jack likes playing the waiting game. A caution in sector 3. It's gonna be a Ferrari Nitro Gash. Probably went into the wall. I don't necessarily know unless he was trying to come in for a pit, and that is our safety car. Sir Spud getting a drive-through penalty as he is in the pit. And that is our safety car for today. Phantom with a track limit penalty. We're going on board to our current leader. See if anybody comes through the pits. As we try and figure out our setting issue. I have TAA and fidelity on. I don't want to bore you guys with my graphic settings, but video mode, TAA and fidelity. I have that on. I have it on quality. I don't know if you guys who are watching have any fixes for me. Please let me know. as it's really bad. It is really bad. Lucas Blaha going for a double set of mediums. I'm gonna get some input from apparently Nitro's saying Mikey was parked in the middle of a chicane. I don't know. To get some input from that incident, we didn't get to see it. The safety car is going to be coming in at the end of the next lap. Unless it's coming in now. No, it will not. Lost it in last chicane, hit the wall on the left. So he didn't hit the wall of champions, he hit the one before that. Or the opposite side. Majority of the grid, only 3 drivers without penalties so far. For the remainder of the race, as we're at lap 13. I'm gonna go in the settings again here and try something else. Because I did have it on something else. I'm gonna go ahead and try full screen. And no, that's not what I had before. Gonna try NVIDIA and see if that will work. All right. Color may have changed. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Safety car is coming in this lap. Gonna go on board with Ronan. If there's any color change, I do apologize. That's how the settings are. Ronan waiting to see the move from Lucas. And there's that move right there before the last chicane. Hopefully, we will have to wait and see later on in the lap to see if we did fix our graphic issue. But Ronan, half a second back from the restart. Lap 14, we have mediums. Some people, JPH and Jack going to the softs. Jack seeing if he can push those softs. JPH getting another track limit penalty. Gattuso making a move on Sir Spud. Mikey back there in P10 on those hards. Everybody went into the pits for new tires, as those hard tire drivers are going to be looking to stretch those possibly to the end of the race. Lockups from both Lucas and Ronan. See if Jack can capitalize on that in the Williams. We won't be able to get a DRS, I believe, until lap 16, and there is a spin from Gattuso. JPH possibly. A traction on those soft tires. Lucas Blaha almost scraping the wall practically. Ronan losing position out back to P3. Jack getting a fastest time with 1:13. See if JPH can improve. They're spotting Gattuso in the pits for damage. And there was a collision between those two. So Gattuso having to serve that 5-second penalty. Hopefully he will be able to serve it then. But we will have to wait and see. Bruce getting another track limit penalty. Lucas and Sam, the only ones without penalties right now for Canada. I can hear Jack side by side. They had to back out of that. That's where we're on board with Jack. Lock up from Lucas. We're going to go ahead and take a look at those penalties again. 14 seconds for Gattuso. And we have another frame rate loss. I do apologize for that. We tried to fix it during the safety car. This Jack is making a move. Very fast movement here. And this, a lot of curb coming from Jack. This is the Haas. Ronan trying to make a move again. Double overtake. Almost had some contact. GRS has been enabled. The AlphaTauri Eclipse Curie is back in it. These four have been racing the entire time. I just wish those frames were not dropped. We've got Sector 3. Eclipse Curie backing out a little bit. He'll have to push his car back into it. Get back in the fight with him. Lucas back in P2. Ronan back where he likes to be, up in P1 on those hards. That way he can nurse him, uses ERS only when he has to defend. JPH needs to do some work. I believe that's a lockup from Lucas. Lucas trying to retake the lead from Ronan. He does easily. See if he can get away. Jack's going to look for a position against Ronan here for P2. Those hot tires, thought about a lunge to the inside. He hit the brakes, so he gave him that space. Avoid a collision. Coming back to Jack. Bruce now 7/10 back. He's trying to join the fight with the top four. His teammate JPH needs to get back up in the points to try to defend his lead. He is currently P2 in the standings for drivers. But more importantly, is the Williams and Haas closing the gap on McLaren for this championship. Another lockup from our top 3-4 drivers. Bruce now have second back. Bruce and Blackside, Phantom and Sam trying to fight for position through that chicane. No, that tight right-hander, sorry. As we may have a top 6 fight for the lead. Blackside into the wall. Is there damage on his front wing? No, there is not, but there is going to be some tire damage. He's going to have that front right have a lot more wear and tear on those hard tires that he wanted. Phantom getting a track limit penalty. Sam and Lucas still without penalties for this race as we're halfway through technically. And there's that frame rate loss. Again, I don't know what it is. I've tried to change settings. I will have to look into it after this race. Eclipse Curie now a second back from the top 3. Losing ground on those hard tires. Can he get within a second? Big lockup from Lucas once again. Can he stay within a second before the timing line? And he can. He has the RS try to close the gap, especially with that last chicane. Ronan losing position against Jack. Eclipse Curie possibly late on the brakes there. snap of oversteer trying to keep up with him. This is going to be a fight between Lucas and Jack for the race as of right now. Just to take his time, be patient. Phantom with another track limit penalty. Flip Scary and Ronan have to try to work together. Ronan's already a second back. With what space they have with the RS, they need to try to work together off of each other. Try to catch up to him. Snap of oversteer from Clips. Black side, another track limit penalty through sector 2. Lockup from Jack. Good entry and exit from Clips Curie. Tried to stay close to Ronan. Ronan's not going to get the arrest, but Clips will. Because Lucas and Jack are in for a fight today. Jack's going to try to stretch those softs, but he's going to have to come in again. There's another safety car. That's probably what his card, the card that he played was probably for another safety car. This is our closest fight right now. Bruce actually close behind Clips Curie trying to make a position. And Blackside about another half second back behind him. The current fight right now is between Clips Curie, Bruce, and Blackside. These three drivers trying to close the gap as they are on hard tires. Jack and Lucas still trying to pull away. It's Sam, 4.3 seconds back behind Blackside, who we are on board with now. Lockup from the Alpha Tower to Clips Curie. More frames drop. Again, I don't know why. I haven't had this issue before. I changed my video setting back to what it was before. It's still doing it. Phantom, yet again, another track limit penalty. Blackside trying to close the gap on Bruce. JPH back up into P8. The back of the pack spread out like it's the end of the race, but we still have a lot of race to go. Bruce just trying to be patient, trying to close up on Clips Curie as best as possible. Lockup from the Williams again. Clips Curie trying to close in on Ronan. Caution in sector 2, it's going to be the Haas of Phantom into the wall. Try to turn around. I don't know if he has a puncture or not. That's what it sounded like. Doesn't look like he has a puncture. We're going to be going back to Blackside. 7/10 back now against Bruce. Bruce 4/10 back behind Clips Curie. The fight right now is within our top 5 drivers, top 6 drivers. But Lucas and Jack so far ahead right now. Jack's going to be running those softs, trying to stay with him. Jack's going to have to come into the pits again before Lucas. So we're going to see some 2 stops today. Lockup from the Williams yet again on those softs. Lockup from the Haas of Ronan. Caution in sector 1 from Phantom. Another slam into the wall. That's going to be a full safety car from Phantom. That's going to be a free pit stop for these front runners. They both come into the pits. We're gonna try and see what we can do about our graphics settings again. I have stuff set on medium, and the ones that I have on ultra high, I need to have on ultra high. Graphics, video. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. And I can't play a video on my microphone without muting my mic. I'm gonna try balanced for the mode. See if that will help. Current leader, Lucas Blaha. There's your cinematic for today's safety car. Phantom, Sir Spud on new mediums. Everybody can be running mediums. Lucas trying to pull a card from Jack and Ronan, technically, for those hard tires. Laps and safety cars going to be coming back in at the end of lap 24. And as always, if you guys are looking to join the league, make sure to join the Invictus Racing League's Discord. Follow the application process in the appropriate channel. About a week response time with the current league, as we are nearing the end. Race number 12 today out of 15. We'll be going to Qatar next week with the final sprint of the season. Mikey disconnected. I don't know if I have you on my friends list, Mikey. I do not. Somebody needs to get Mikey that invite. You guys can always find our league on gridfinder.com. And if this league is not quite what you're looking for, be sure to look through gridfinder.com for a league that fits your preference with the available filters. Online racing isn't your thing and you're on PC. Unfortunate for those who are on console. For mods, make sure to go and check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for anything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and more. Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us today and throughout the season as we're in Canada for race number 12. Jack, yet again, having to wait for the move for Lucas Blaha. I believe it was Ronan having to wait last time. Lucas going to be playing the long game till the end of the race. Lucas trying to keep those tires warm before the start. Jack has to be careful. He's really getting anxious. Lucas playing the waiting game until the very end. Holding him off, and there he goes, right through the chicane. No, not yet. He's playing the waiting game to the very last second. There we go. See if that will pay off. Lucas needs as much gap as he can. Mikey with a spin. Sir Spud getting a track limit penalty. Mikey reconnecting, that's what that was. I forgot he was disconnected. Caution to sector 1. Sir Spud getting a spin after a track limit penalty. Lucas Blaha, 4/10 ahead. No DRS until I believe lap 27. Caution in sector 2. The Haas is going slow. Phantom is going slow. I don't know. He is ghosted. I don't know if he's connected or not. No, he is. But I did see one of the videos that I watched. One of the F1 videos I watched, there was, I think it was the recent update, where if you go head-to-head too much against, I don't know if it's against multiplayer, but I know it's against AI, where if you go head-to-head and looks like you're going to be coming in contact with a driver, they ghost, which ruins the realism of it. I had that happen to me in Bahrain for my Season 2 opener. As the Williams, a little bit slow through the turn. Ronan trying to close in on those mediums. Sam now was the only one on softs. Can he stretch those softs to the end of the race? We're going to go on board with Eclipse Kiri. P4. Getting very close to the gearbox of that Haas. But can he stay with him throughout this straight stretch? Well, very good through the chicane. Coach Gary still hanging on. DRS now on lap 27. They won't get it till sector 2. Eclipse Kiri putting down just enough power to try to close the gap on Ronan through sector 1. Jack getting another. Bruce getting another. I'm going to go ahead and take a look again at those track penalties. 9 for Bruce. 12 for Gattuso and Phantom. 9 for Sir Spud. Wow. 9 for Blackside as well. 3 for Ronan and Eclipse. Lucas. Is that a spin from Bruce? No, he's going to be losing position. I don't know if there was contact or not. Do we have any damage on the McLaren? I don't know. Texture loss. A little bit of contact from the Aston Martin. I don't see any damage on the McLaren of Bruce Lee Harden. Are we coming back up to Eclipse Kiri? Those frames went down again. I do not know what's going on today. Whoa, that's an Alfa Romeo. I don't know what happened with Lucas, but that's a big hit from Clips. I don't know what happened. Eclipse Kiri coming up fast on the back of Lucas Blaha. Oh no, Lucas Blaha got off of his line or what, but he's now a second back from the lead. I don't know if there was contact there or not. But that's, I'm still trying to comprehend what happened there. Jack now back in the lead. Ronan P3 for Clips. Lucas back to P4. Like I was talking, he was running a really good race up until then. We didn't necessarily get to see what happened. We had some texture frame rate issues at the same time. Ronan 112.9 on those mediums. As Lucas is still within a second. See if Lucas can push those hards to get back from the fight. Everybody's about a second back from Lucas Blaha on. JPH about a half second back from Sam. If Lucas can stay where he's at, stay within a few seconds with the rest of this race, if he can run really good, he can technically get P1 with those penalties. 3-second penalties. Caution to sector 2. Black side. It's going to be a spin from black side. Not enough for a safety car. Caution through sector 3. JPH and Bruce swapping places. Lucas Blaha now getting a penalty for track limits. Not going to help his case because we were going to go over the track penalties and the gap from the leader. Lucas Blaha with the 3-second penalty now will not be able to bump him up to P1. Very unfortunate. If he didn't get that track penalty, he could have stolen the lead by a technicality. Interval and tire. Now he just has to get as close as he can to the people in front of him with those track penalties, and I believe Jack has multiple. Let's go back. Jack has multiple, so he needs to get that gap as much as possible. But now, Sam, Mercedes on softs, and the only person on the grid with no penalties with 6 laps to go. Depending on Lucas and Clips, we'll have to... Clips getting another 3-second time penalty, so that will bump Lucas up to P3 with the current standings, from what I understand. JPH and Bruce swapping again. And the gap from the leader. A 12-second penalty for Bruce. Gonna hurt. So as of right now, what I'm looking at, we may see Ronan get bumped to P1. Lucas may get bumped to P2. And then Jack and Clips have 6-second time penalties. So we'll have to wait and see the very end what happens with those penalties and how we're going to get our last podium for the stream today. As if you guys didn't know, if you guys came in late with the scheduling issues, I will not be able to stream the rest of the season, even though there's only 3 races left. It is a lot of time constraint. As Clip Scary, half a second back behind Ronan, trying to close in. Good overhead shot on Lucas. Gattuso making a move on Sam. There in the back through sector 1. Lucas still trying to close the gap. Just over a second. No DRS. The fight right now is the top 3 to be on board with Clips Curie. Caution through sector 2. It's going to be a spin from black side again. Scary trying to push those mediums now. 3 laps to go. Everybody on 10-lap mediums and hards from that second safety car. Making it a 2-stop today. 2-stop race today. I don't know if that was a snap of oversteer or not. Scary still trying to close the gap. Lucas now within a second of a P4 or a P3. So he's going to try to get back in the fight. Jack now with another 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help his case. He may be knocked out of the podium. Another frame rate loss there Not too bad, but still getting it. You see the wear and tear on those mediums starting to build up. See, swapping over will help. Swapping back, not really. Phantom, or not Phantom, Ronan gonna have black side. Another 3-second time penalty. Sam, still the only person without penalty throughout the race. With 2 laps to go, can Clips make a dive bomb, try to get close enough, fight for his podium spot. As of right now, Jack is fighting for his spot. It's all dependent on Lucas and Clips Curie. If Lucas can get close enough, Jack may be knocked out of the podium. And go to the leader. About 7/10 gap between Ronan and Jack. 1.3 seconds from Clips to Jack. Lucas, 2.2 seconds. Lucas can stay where he's at. They may potentially knock Jack off the podium with that 9-second time penalty. Clips with that 6-second time penalty, still trying to fight for that podium spot. It's a 4-man fight for a 3-man podium with the penalties in hand. Rounding out the end of this first lap. Phantom's gonna have to blue flag and move out of the way. Corner cutting from the pass off of his line. Clips Curie moving up to P2. And there's a spin from Ronan to Clips Curie. That's gonna be unfortunate. That's gonna be a big penalty for Ronan. Clips Curie knocked out of that. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if there was anger involved or not, but Clips Curie is not happy about that. We'll have to wait and see what these penalties can do for the last of the race. Jack, 2.5 seconds ahead of Lucas. Ronan close behind. Clips Curie about 4.5 seconds back now, with some obvious damage and losing time. I don't know what happened between Ronan and Clips. Jack coming across the line. Our race winner today. Getting dropped down to P3. Can Clips have enough time to get onto the podium? No. Lucas Blaha for the win. Ronan P2. That P2 is going to hurt later in the week with a penalty with contact with Clips Curie. JPH up into P4. Oh, I forgot I had it full screen. We will come back to that later. JPH up into P4, P7 to Bruce. And there is some rivalry talk in the driver's room right now. We have our podium. All right, a lot of penalties today. Sam Flan, the one and only without penalties for this race. Lucas, Blaha, Ronan, and Jack. Let's see you guys in Tier 4 comms for the post-race interviews. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the main screen. I'm gonna go ahead and go back into my settings. That way you guys can have music. Change my window settings back to windowed. All right, if we can get our top 3 finishers to Tier 4 comms for post-race interviews. Very eventful race today. I'll go ahead and leave the lobby. Hello. Just trying to get my stuff situated. Yes, it was. I'm trying to go back to the podium finish. Went back too far. There's 2, and we need 1 more. Waiting for Ronan if he's able to attend. I need to go back and watch this controversial last bit of the race. All right, for those of you tuned in, watching the... I'm a lap late. I need to go back more. End of lap 34. Still waiting on Ronan to see if he can join for post-race interviews, unless he already dipped out for the night. All right, so I'm looking back on lap 34, the end of lap 34. We're on board with Clips Curie. Ronan's trying to make a move on Jack. Looks like Ronan loses. I don't know if he... Hard to tell there. I went back too far. Okay, so Ronan has DRS on Jack. Clips has DRS on Ronan. From the perspective of the onboard, there's a snap of oversteer over the curb. Clips carrier makes a move on the outside through the main straight. There's going to be a spin from Ronan on the inside. And Lucas moving up the P2 from that. And we're going to wait one more time for... see if we can get Ronan into here. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at our final podium again. All right. Once again, if the game audio is too loud, please let me know as we wrap up the post-race interviews. If my audio is too loud, please let me know. So our final podium, P3 goes to Jack, P2 to Ronan, and P1 to Lucas. We're gonna start with Jack, our P3 finisher. We had a good race again today. Jack?
I'm here.
Yep, just making sure.
There was more to your sentence there.
No, I'm looking at the podium, and you heard me when I was watching the playback of lap 34. You had a very interesting race. I was thinking a one-stop race, but I didn't realize that there were so many laps of the race. So early safety car, not really early enough. It seemed like right amount of time for the first safety car. What were you feeling? Because I know you were fighting. The top 4, top 5 drivers were fighting. Like you, Lucas, Jack, Clips Carry. All of you guys were within at least half a second for the longest time ever there at the start of the race. How do you feel about today's race? Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry, mate. No, we had a good fight. I always thought it was going to be a 2-stop race rather than a 1-stop. I didn't feel the hards had the legs at the end of the race. And you know, that first stint, I was planning on pitting when the safety car came out. I was going to try and just get some free space because Ronan and Lucas in front of me were fighting. So you know, they were swapping places, and I just felt I was quicker at that moment in the race. And I put the soft tyres on when the safety car came out. Obviously, Lucas got his elbows out and shoved me across the chicane. Completely fair on him, to be honest. I'm not criticised. On that first time around, so it was nice having a good bit of wheel-to-wheel with Lucas tonight, actually, because I haven't really had the chance to do that all season with him. I just couldn't, when I got into the lead of the race, I just couldn't break the RS. That was the problem. I was quicker than Ronan, and I was getting to about 9/10 in the first sector, but the DRS around here is so powerful. I just couldn't stretch my legs, and then, you know, I was overheating the tyres and sliding all over the place trying to get away from Ronan, and it just brought everybody back together. And I don't know what happened on the last lap. I know there was contact. I know Kiri went one way. I just saw it on the map. I don't know who was at fault, but it was good for me. I'm happy with the podium, and you know, keeps me in the championship hunt. So that's what matters, really.
Yeah, another podium for you. I believe you were on the podium last week. Watching the playback of the first stint, and you were sitting back in P4 for a while. You were playing the waiting game. I know you like to play the waiting game. I know Ronan does too. And you were waiting for your moment, and that safety car really helped. I'm trying. You didn't really have any close calls or anything like that, did you? I'm not seeing anything.
It was just me and Lucas. I think had 2 moments where we went side by side into chicane, and the first time I was the one who took the escape road. The second time he was. So it was nice having that fight with him. I think, you know, I know Lucas in the chat right now, but really impressive this season. He's had quite a lot of bad luck, and you know, I've had a little bit of bad luck. I think we're very well matched, so I'm looking forward to the last 3 races.
I've been saying that throughout the race and throughout the last few races. Lucas, his pace, he has the qualifying pace, he has the running pace. It's just like he gets too far into it, he makes those mistakes. I will go over that with him here in a little bit, but he did have an excellent race. That second safety car, I don't remember what caused that second safety car. I believe it was a spin from Gattuso. I'm trying to find it. I'm gonna go back and find it, see where it was. No, it was Phantom. It was the other Haas. It was Phantom, I believe, that caused that incident. We haven't had Phantom in for at least a few races that I remember. But yeah, a lot of penalties, a lot of track limit penalties. A lot weren't where I was expecting them to be. I had a feeling that a lot of drivers were going to be touching the wall of champions there, and I was correct on that. But Sam Flan, the Mercedes, the only person on the grid to not get any penalties, and you were fighting there towards the end because you had, I believe it was 9 seconds total on a penalty. And if it wasn't for the gap there at the end, the unfortunate gap, you would have been knocked off the podium.
I think I won't put in for my penalties, I don't think, because it should have been 6 seconds, not 9. I think the game's given me 2 penalties for 1, and I'm just going to have a look at the race director and double check it. But in all honesty, I think the track limits are very difficult around here, and I was conscious of making sure that I didn't make any mistakes, but it's just one of those races. It's really frenetic around it. I'm happy to just get it, to be honest. Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
So, is there anything else that stood out for you that I may have not noticed?
I'd just say, you know, if we could award bonus points, give him to Sandplan because he did get a penalty.
That was an amazing race from him today. No penalties whatsoever for him. And JPH was close behind. He could have gotten you off the podium if he was a little bit closer with those penalties. But good race from McLaren's. Good race from you. Congratulations on another podium. It's not a win, but it's another podium.
That it is.
All right. And thank you so much. P2 goes to Ronan. He's not here. He sat out of post-race interviews. And he had a very... I don't know what he was doing. I'm looking at the playback here, and he had an okay race. He ran for a little bit against Lucas and Klipskiri. He didn't really excel in any parts that I saw throughout the race and qualifying, but he had an exceptional race today. And the incident at the end. From what I saw, there was a snap of oversteer through the last chicane, and Klipskiri went to make a move, so I'm watching it over again. There's a snap of oversteer. He was in the toe of Jack. He makes a move, tries to stay on the inside of Klipskiri and causes a spin. So, that's unfortunate, and he gets moved up into P2 by penalty. But our race winner, Lucas Baja. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. It was so intense in the last 5 laps because I am on the hard and guys in front of me are on mediums, I guess. And it was so hard to stay in 1 second to get the DRS and yeah, you know, and yeah.
I'm having to look through the I'm going back through and looking at the race results. When was the last time you won or even got on a podium?
Dhabi,
Because
I guess.
say again?
Abu Dhabi Abu Dhabi was the last
I
one, I think.
I don't believe
it
I was
this
there.
weekend.
That was the race. That was the race that I missed out on.
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi. It's been a minute. All right. So, my biggest question is, let me find it. It's the second stint. You were up in the lead, and then I was on board with Clips Curie, and he basically slams into the back of your car. What was going on? Do you remember what lap that was?
I didn't notice that, to be honest.
Well, you lost like
noticed-
three. You lost like 3 positions on the main straight.
Oh, that.
I don't know if you were off your racing line or something happened.
I think we fight with Jack, and we are side by side into the last chicane, and I need to go by the.
I'm looking through here trying to find it. Maybe on lap 26, I'm on board with Clips Carry. You were in the front.
Yeah, I think it's the fight with Jack.
A fight with Jack.
And I need to go.
All right. What did you think about the end there with the incident with Ronan and Clips Carry, and you get bumped up into the podium? What were your thoughts there?
I think Ronan lost it into the last chicane and Clips on second position. And I think it's fair to fight with him because never know when he got the second penalty and Kerry can be on the podium. But yeah, it was racing, and I think
It happens, yeah. I like watching the replay. Clips had the advantage going into the turn. It's so hard to keep track of like your arrows and seeing how close they are unless you have your mirrors in your rearview mirror, and it's so hard to be able to notice like that. That's a racing incident that's near impossible to miss. It'll be unfortunate that Ronan may or most likely get penalized for that incident because he was on the inside but he wasn't in the front. And I believe, yeah, lap 27 I think is where I think you hit the inside wall after the World Champions.
me.
Yes, I'm looking at the Alfa Romeo comes crossed on the right side.
I think I nearly.
Nearly. Oh yeah, you were coming off of the runoff, and
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a bit mad because I'm like, oh okay, but I do the same a few laps before to the Jack, so it was fair at the end, and it was great racing.
It was a very great race. You put a lot of effort. You guys all put a lot of effort there in the first stint. You guys were, it's a lot of lockups from you as well. I noticed going through that.
Just the bug in the game because I didn't notice that I look up, but on the stream I look up like every corner. But in my POV, it's not like that.
Plus, if
So
you're
I think
using,
it's just a bug.
I'm sure majority of you guys are using the wheel setup, so you can actually feel when you're like locking up or wheel spin or anything like that. But yeah, a lot of, yeah, it probably was the game saying like, okay, every time we lock up, there's a lot of smoke, because that's the first time I've really noticed the lockup mechanics that they've had. But yeah, very intense fight for you guys through the first stint. Second stint was looking like towards the end of the race with the gaps from the back half of the field. And that third stint, that incident there at the end, a long fight. But some very important points for you for this championship with 3 races to go. Go to Qatar next week for a sprint, so hopefully this will pay off. And like I was saying, like you have the pace in qualifying, you do get in the races, and is it to that point, like I was saying, where if you get too far into it, you make a mistake and it comes back and bites you?
I I don't think it's mistakes that cost me too many points. But if I look back, I have like 3 or 5 incidents with guys that's running lower,
Yeah.
and it was their mistakes. And last time my base was for like top 5, but the game just crashed, and
Yeah.
it's racing.
And
It's game, so
it's a game. It's fun. It's challenging. And let's see where you're at in the championship right now. Where are you? You're P4 with 85 points. That race win, that'll put you right up there with the possibly a podium, possibly P3. Maybe with Ronan getting on the podium as well. He's P3 right now in driver standings. Jack is also P1 right now ahead of JPH. He'll gain that gap a little bit on JPH. We'll see how he places on driver standings next week. And it's very unfortunate. I don't know if you've heard, but today is my last race with you guys due to time constraints. But it was fun, and congratulations on the race win. I'll have to look back and see if you've won other races. Like you were saying, Abu Dhabi, I'll have to take a look at that. That's the one race I missed this season because of my sleep schedule being off.
I think the other was Imola, and you.
I will definitely reaching out. I'll definitely be reaching out to Scotty. I know he's got a lot on hand that he's trying to deal with about sticking around, probably not streaming or whatever, but probably towards media stuff like that. But once again, a good race from you, good race from Jack, and good race from Ronan, our podium finishers. And once again, my name is Xerox, your commentator for Tier 4 throughout the rest of the season. You guys got 3 races to go. You got Guitar, last sprint race of the season. Then you have, I believe it was, I gotta pull up the schedule again. Guitar, Australia, and then Japan are our final 3 races. And this was definitely a good race to start us off for Canada this week. Tier 3 race today as well. If you guys are in the Discord, you guys can keep track of their standings. Tier 2 will be going tomorrow. Tier 1 will be going on Wednesday, and Real Performance on Thursday. And as always, if you guys are looking to join the league, make sure to join the Invictus Racing League's Discord, follow the application process, and the appropriate channel. You can also find our league on gridfinder.com. This league isn't quite what you're looking for. Be sure to look through Gridfinder for the league that fits your preference with the available filters. Online racing isn't your thing, and for those of you who are on console, it's very unfortunate you guys aren't able to use mods. But please be sure to go check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for anything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and more. The Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us so far throughout the season. Today, for Race 12 in Canada, my name is Xerox. I will see you guys around. Hopefully next season I'll be back, maybe as a one-off stream or something like that. But we'll see you guys next week for Guitar.